Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Denver, Colorado, and this is my buddy Puccini who keeps me company in the craft room, and he's been being a little devil this afternoon. I started to mess with this new daisy suite, and I got started last week with fully intending to put up a video on Friday showing a card that I made, and I can show you what the card looks like. It is this little card here, and I will show it to you today a little bit, but we're not going to make it. We're going to make it next, the next video, because what I realized when I started putting that together is just how crazy this this daisy bundle is. Between the dies and the double or two-step stamping opportunities and the texture in the dies, it is just amazing. And I had a hard time figuring out exactly what I wanted to do with it, and I thought, if I'm having a hard time figuring it out, then maybe a couple of you are struggling with how to use it, how to put it together, what some of the combinations might be. And so I thought I would spend today's video on just talking about the stamp set and basically how to use it. And there's a million ways to use this thing. And so that's the video I'm planning on doing today. And then the next time I'll refer back to it. So if you want to take a look at the parts and pieces, you can, but then we can start doing videos. And I've decided this one is extensive enough that I am going to do 4 or 5 videos on this set alone. One of the things that occurs to me is once you spend money on a suite like this, it's not inexpensive. It's $50 some to get the stamp set and the die set. And if you get the whole suite with all of the embellishments and everything else that goes with it, it can be $70 or $80. And so what I want to do is show you how you can get the most out of this by using it a bunch of different ways. And so I'm going to concentrate on this whole suite for 4 or 5 videos to really show you how you can use it. So let's just get started. Okay. So this is what are the possibilities. Let me share with you the stamp set first. The stamp set has a fill-in stamp and an outline stamp of each of the 3 flowers. And this is how they're represented. So this one is this large one is this. Same thing with these two. This one is the full fill-in, and this one is the outline. Now you can see here I gave an example of what I did, where I did the outline in Pecan Pie, stamped off once, just to give the hint of an outline. Now you could do that in a very pale gray as well, with something else in here, brown or something else for the center of the flower. If you did gray, it would outline white very, very nicely. All right, and then the final one is this one that looks a little bit like Black-Eyed Susan, the way they kind of fall away from the main part of the center of the flower. And so those are those there. This one is this large one. This is full stamp Pecan Pie, and this is 1 generation off. Then this is Pecan Pie stamped on Pecan Pie, and so it is a little bit darker and gives a different kind of look. And this is what it looks like stamped on white. Now, of course, you could stamp it on yellow, and you could do all of those other things, but this was an example. This is where I got started when I made this little card. And so this little card, I stamped these images, and then I stamped the stem and the leaves and here is the stem, and here's what it looked like stamped. And what I did on this one is I double stamped the stem because it looked a little thin to me. That's this one right up here. And then I stamped some leaves around it, and I fussy cut this one out because I wasn't sure if I was going to use that on this card or not and then raise it. But this is what you can do with the stamp set and the stem and the leaves, or this is what it looks like, and this is stamped on Mossy Meadow using Mossy Meadow ink. So that's that one. These, there's not a representation of this here, but in the die set there are these leaves as well, and I cut out 2 of them in the Mossy Meadow so you could see them. And those are kind of interesting because I think they look, you know, if you put them on top of one another and you made it real busy, it looks like pine boughs. So I think we'll be able to use these for the holiday cards. And then, so that is all of the pieces. And then this little stamp here is a cluster of 3 flowers together, small ones. So I did it on just the white here, and then I did it and I used the die to cut it out, and then I cut out the die stems as well. So you can use this stuff any number of ways. This, for instance, might fit underneath here and make a 3D flower that's completely 3D. Okay, then the way the dies work. Let me show you the dies. So the dies cut out a bunch of things. The first thing it cuts out, and the first thing you notice, is this. And let me show you what that looks like when it is all together. This cuts out this representation, like this, of the 3 flowers connected together with some leaves. Now I'm going to show you by taking this apart how you get this. Now you can't, it would be very challenging to try to stamp or arrange your stamps in such a way that you could stamp this whole thing. So what I found you need to do is to just use your snips and snip away. Now these leaves, if you cut them in white, can be, you can use your ink dauber and turn them green. And then there's little connecting pieces between these flowers. I think you can see them there. And what I did was you just snip them apart, and then you're left on the other side with a little bump, which you snip off also in line with the way the flower is put together. Now this one has 2, so snip apart there, take off the bump on this side, and same thing here, and then take off the bump on this side, and we're still connected one place here. And let's see, I think we've got one little bump we should have left. And right now I'm not seeing it, so maybe I did get it cut off. Anyway, so you end up with 3 flowers that are separate, or you can put them on your card connected. Now here I've done it in Daffodil Delight, where I cut out the same set of flowers, but I think this sets up to use the die pieces to make the layers, and this sets up torn apart here, or snipped apart, to do some stamping on those. And I'll show you what I mean. So I put together a little one down here, or started to. And the way the dies work, they cut out a big silhouette of the larger flower, the medium flower, and the one that looks like the Black-Eyed Susan. And then the detail on that is this one for the largest flower, this one for this flower, and this one for this flower. When you cut these out, and this one I just put together, I didn't take it apart. but it's quite easy to see that on this one, in fact, I can take this apart and just put it on this white one that we have here. And these are challenging to put together. What I found was that on the bottom, there's one leaf down here that's got kind of a bit of a separation from the other leaves, and it's kind of fat. And that seems to be the one that I have the best chance in putting together, and it's this one. So I can set that one right on here, and it sets up. So on this flower, it would be this one down here. And so you could set that up to have a white background, and then the second layer is this piece that is cut out of the three, and the third layer is this piece that comes out of here. So this is the back piece, this is the center piece, and this is the front piece. Now, you can put this one in here, and what you get is this. You get a rim around the outside, and you get the inside piece of that. Now, I've not seen very many people show this combination, but on the inside of your card, you don't want too much dimension, so cutting something like this might make some sense, because since this fits right inside here, you can glue this whole thing flat on your card. And it offers enough dimension, and if you took one of these big centers, and I was just fooling around here, I was messing around with Daffodil Delight, Lemon Lolly, and Crushed Curry in order to get all of these different colors. And then you could lay this one right in here, and isn't that a pretty combination? And that one is like this one, where it is, this one is layered on the one that I haven't cut away, that is the medium-sized flower. And then this one is the one that is the detail that goes to this one, like that. And then there's a smaller flower center, which can be used on the top of this piece. You turn it whichever way makes you happy, but something like that. And so you could conceivably put together any number of different combinations that you can even begin to imagine. White inside some of these other lighter colors, and putting together something like this and putting it on a white big background would be really pretty too. I got to go find my little fat leaf there in order to figure out how it might go together. But there's all different kinds of possibilities that you can do using this color and these flower combinations. So on the little card that I made, I stamped the flowers down, and what I did was on this I stamped an outline of pecan pie, and I stamped off once because I just wanted the faintest little piece, and then I stamped lemon lolly in the center, and I stamped it twice because it was very, very light. And so I double stamped that, and then I did one where I cut it out and then put it on here. Now on the inside is a combination of the brown with the crushed curry, and then the brown raised detail, this point, the stem that came die cut, and then these flowers, or these leaves, which I cut out of Mossy Meadow. I cut off this little one and just used it on the bottom here to make a little leaf on either side. And you can see where these kinds of leaves could go in here as well and just do a different kind of leaf structure on behind the stamped images. So that one might be kind of interesting, perhaps on something like this. I have to pick it all up here in order to get my hands on it. But I could see where you could do something that was like that and maybe like that to give a whole different look to this card. And so I think that this is extremely versatile. Now this is the label that gets cut out, and I cut one out here in yellow so you could see the detail. There is, let's see if I got it here where you can see it. There's stitch detail right along both edges on this side, and then there's no stitch detail but a little embossed look on these little corners. So I wanted to just show you, and what I did was in stamping I tried a little experiment. This was Daffodil Delight. This was Lemon Lolly stamped once, and then this was crushed curry. And I decided that I liked the crushed curry better as a cutout piece from the cardstock because I thought this was too dark. And the Daffodil Delight and the Lemon Lolly. And the Lemon Lolly gets a little bit brighter, like this, if you stamp over it twice. And on this flower, I found that if you stamp it upside down, it's real easy to line up. And if you stamp it right side up, not so much. So this one in particular was much easier to overstamp. Like once I had this outline, to overstamp that in the Lemon Lolly by doing it upside down, and I didn't miss once. It came out really, really well. And the next time I do a video, I will do a video showing making 2 different cards, and they're very, very different from one another. I'll show making this one, and the other one I don't have a prototype for. I'm in the process of putting it together. So that one will be a bit of a surprise, and it's a fun fold. So that'll be on my next video. So this is what this stamp and die set is capable of doing. And you can see that there's just endless possibilities of things that you can do with this stamp set. And if we go with a different big background and do something like this, let me find my little flat leaf right in there and see some of the stamp detail behind some of that, that could be very interesting too if that was done in a little darker stamping. So I think this is one where it pays to sit down and just have a little play. I am real fond of this combination right here. That is the crushed curry in the back, the basic white in the detail petals, and then this one has a Lemon Lolly center. I saved all the centers that I cut out of those because I thought they came in pretty handy. And you can take this and just, I know you've got a punch, and just put this in the back to get that look of those brown dots in there, or you could put some rhinestones in there. There's a lot of things that one can do with this. I think that this one's got just endless possibilities, and I would really like to work it so that you really got your money's worth out of this stamp set. So like I said, I will be back with several videos where we're going to take these combinations of things, and I'm going to make cards that do all different kinds of things to set up on these things. And I think that we can come up with some real pretty stuff. And I didn't even begin to go into pink daisies or blue daisies. We have some here that come out in the spring that are kind of periwinkle. They're annuals here. And I thought Orchid Oasis would be beautiful with the white. And so I will be back with several cards over several videos showing how to use some of these different tools. And so I think this is all of the combinations that I could come up with. And so there's like 3 layers for each one that are possible. And it's kind of fun. And so yeah, I think this big layer like this that is the outline die, which is this one, then this piece, which is the one behind here, and then this piece, which is the detail, gives you the sort of 3-layer look that you can get with every one of these flowers. And you just have to find the right leaf to get it set up on here. And I started to mark my dies so I'd know where I was cutting on what. But you get the kind of effect here of having the 3 layers there, and I think that's real pretty. I think there's some just lovely things we can do. And again, this one was a stamped and cut out, and then stamped. And then this one on the inside was using only the die cuts to create this little flower. So you start to get an idea of what that's like. So I will be featuring this one on my next one, plus one other one that is a fun fold, and I think we can have some fun with it. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. I thought this one deserved its own video just because there's so much going on here. There's still the paper sale that's going on. There's still the join deal that's going on right now. The paper pumpkins. The last paper pumpkin was great. And we'll see what's up with the new one. That's it for me, and I will be back soon with more projects, particularly around this suite. So, bye. See you soon.